Hi guys! So as you can see, I am not inside. I am out for a walk and thought I might film my Q&A video finally. But in hindsight, holding a camera up while trying to walk through the bush, it's not the best idea because I really need to see where I'm going, because otherwise I will fall down rocks like this. I'm heading to a place that has like a really big cliff, and when I'm there I'll stop and answer some questions from you guys. And here we are. Okay, so first question's coming from Instagram. Do I want another hair color? If yes, which one? I do, but I'm gonna keep that secret for now. I don't like to reveal my hair to everyone just yet. What got you into fashion in the first place? What was that journey like? Well, as a teenager, I was never that into fashion actually, because I didn't know enough about different sort of fashion styles and I didn't really have access to a lot either. I did get into more like gothic type of music, but I didn't really have anything in my wardrobe to reflect that type of music genre that I was into. And it was mainly because in Australia at the time, there just wasn't much at all for buying anything that I knew of. Anyway, there might have been and I just didn't know about it, but so all I had was pretty much just black clothes for most of it. And I didn't experiment that much because I was actually quite a shy child. And I was always afraid of putting myself out there too much and doing something crazy with my hair. So I didn't do that much. And also in Australia for high school and primary school, you wear a uniform. So the only times you get to wear your own clothes is on the weekend pretty much. So there's not much need to go into fashion that much. So it wasn't actually until I was 19, 20 did I really start to experiment, because I was doing more research, I was seeing lots of different styles that I liked, and I wanted to try that out. And it slowly evolved from there to what you see today. So it was a slow journey, and I don't think you're ever too late to get into it. So it's not something that you have to be dressing since you were 14, because I certainly wasn't. And it's okay if you're even in your 30s and you want to change your style and change your fashion, you can do that. What are some tips for a first-time traveler to a new continent or country? Do some research about the country you're going to. Be flexible, because things will go wrong and things might seem really scary sometimes, but just try and stay relaxed and calm and you'll be okay. What's your favorite outfit, and do you have a favorite outfit for each season? This is really hard to answer. I don't think I have a favorite look. I go through sort of cycles of what I'm really into at the time, and there are particular pieces from my wardrobe that I love wearing, but I don't think I have an absolute favorite look because it does change over time. Second part was favorite outfit for each season. I wouldn't really call it so much an outfit, but definitely in like autumn and winter, you will find I have a scarf for every single autumn or winter look. I love scarves. What sort of comments do you get on your outfits when you wear them in public? You know, I actually don't ever get many comments at all. You get looks, for sure. When I was doing my second degree last year, I had to go into the city of Sydney for 4 days a week. And that's like 45 minutes on a peak hour train, so full of business people going to work. And yeah, I got looks all the time, but I don't think anyone's ever commented anything negative anyway. I don't really care. I kind of, whenever I'm out in public by myself, I tend to have my headphones in and I'm just listening to music and I'm in my own little world, so I don't really pay much attention. There was one man, actually, I was waiting to cross the road and I had my headphones in and he said something, and I don't know, I couldn't hear what he said because obviously I had my headphones in playing music, so I took them out and I'm like, yes, and I can't remember what he said. It wasn't mean, but it was something like oh, where are you going, or something like that, and I just kind of was just like, yeah, headphones back in. I find people don't often say that much, and I know it's not like that everywhere, and if you live in an area where people do say mean things out on the street and judge you for how you look, I'm sorry about that. It's not a nice thing. I don't understand why people waste energy on that. Sorry, there's a tiny little wren over there. I wonder if I can show you guys. He's just fluttering around in there. How cute! Oh, bye. How do you choose which outfit, clothes, accessories to bring when packing for a trip and have limited space? This is a great question because I actually had to do just that from the Europe trip I've just been on. So definitely pack for the weather, pack for comfort. Don't pack anything, even if you love wearing it, if it's gonna make you uncomfortable wearing it hours at a time. So you'd rather be comfortable on your trip than looking stunning and super uncomfortable. Choose things that are really versatile. So for example, I chose a long black maxi skirt. I chose a couple of dresses that could also be used as tunics. So they were short enough to wear as a dress with like leggings, but you could wear them over the maxi skirt as well, or you can just wear them as the dress. So pack pieces that have multiple uses, I guess. You can wear them in multiple ways, and don't overpack, because if you're like me, you'll probably want to do some thrift shopping over there, so leave room for that. What's your advice for posing for photos? So I've been asked a question like this a few times actually, and I've been meaning to make a video on like my go-to poses. I really don't consider myself like a good model because I have a very kind of small repertoire of poses and phases that I go to because I know that they tend to work. So, oh sun, I would say definitely do some research into poses that you like maybe go on Pinterest and save all the pictures of poses that you like and try and copy it. Even if you find one of my poses that you really like, try and copy that like in the mirror. You're gonna feel stupid, but just practice. Like every outfit that I wear that I know I'm gonna take pictures of, I tend to have a very quick practice in front of the mirror of just what pose is gonna really show off the outfit best and create the best silhouette, because I'm always about creating that silhouette. It often depends what kind of character or kind of look I'm going for. That can influence the silhouette as well, but it is just all about playing to your strengths, what your body type is like. For me, I've got very broad shoulders, very wide hips, and I've got a very little waist in comparison. So I always want to show the waist off, so I never want to have my sort of arms crossed or hiding the part where the waist happens, because then to me it just wouldn't create such a dynamic silhouette. So it is just about playing to your body type strengths and just have a practice, honestly. I really want to make a video about some little tips for posing as best I can. Like, I'm not a professional, but yeah, so look out for that, and that will probably answer your question in a bit more detail. What does it mean to be a witch hat? It means you put me on your head and I sort you into your house. What's a song that describes your life at the moment? Cool by Gwen Stefani. What inspiration do you draw from when creating your daily outfits and also when doing photo shoots? I gotta say, the inspiration definitely just comes from everywhere. It comes from mythology, it comes from history, it comes from movies, it comes from the fantasy genre as a whole, so fantasy video games or MMO games, fantasy books as well. Sometimes inspiration can just sort of happen, and sometimes it's built around a certain piece of jewelry or a certain dress that just immediately sort of sparks some kind of character idea that I have, and immediately I sort of build the entire outfit around this single piece. So really it does just come from all over, and inspiration is definitely not something you can force. It can be when you don't have any inspiration for things, it can be very frustrating because you feel like your ideas are just gone, and they're never gone, they're just having a rest. Or maybe you just can't access them right now. Maybe you're stressed out about other things, or sometimes it just takes a bit of time. But I think the important thing is to just not try and force it. If you're really just not feeling it, then just stop and let it happen. Maybe read your favorite book, or watch your favorite film, or even play a video game, and you might find something in there that really sparks something. When you shop secondhand, if you still do, I do, how do you determine whether a piece will fit in with your wardrobe or not? And there's a second part to this question too, but I'll answer this first bit. So buying secondhand, you do have to examine it quite carefully. I've got to think, do I have something similar to this at home? And then I do have to think also, what do I have that will go with this? And for me, I stick to roughly the same color palette, which is black, obviously, grays, and lately I've been moving into more browns and earthy tones as well. So I always stick within that color scheme. I know that obviously if I buy like a bright green dress, that's not going to go with much, so I tend to avoid stuff like that. Not to say that you have to. If you like to experiment, then by all means, but it's okay if you get something and then realize that it doesn't quite fit in. And that's what's great about secondhand stuff, is hopefully you wouldn't have spent too much on it, and you can just donate it again, or maybe turn it into something else. Don't be afraid to try and alter it, or maybe even hand dye it to something that really thinks it will fit with your wardrobe, because you know, it's secondhand, you can do whatever you want with it. But yeah, for me, sticking within the same color palette, and I also just look at if the piece can be worn in multiple ways, or can be at least layered over something, layered over another dress or a skirt or something like that, just so that I have multiple uses for it. And the second part of your question, I know you've said before that a lot of your items are from eBay, so I guess I'm wondering what sort of search terms you put in to find the clothes you're interested in. Yeah, actually I do occasionally buy from the secondhand part of eBay. It's like the used section, because you can find a lot there, but I only ever do that within Australia because the shipping is much cheaper, and it also saves on all the air miles for stuff coming overseas. Searching online can be a bit tricky. Sometimes you can put in something quite specific, like maybe a specific brand that you really like. You can try be very broad, like black lace-up boots in your size, and if you find nothing there, maybe just switch it to black boots in your size. And then you do have to search and search and search through pages and pages. So really I only do it when I'm like on the train going somewhere or on a bus, just to pass some time. Some other search terms I put in are like asymmetrical, because I love an asymmetrical dress or an asymmetrical skirt. Certain material as well, like linen. Linen is a beautiful texture and it's nice and cool to wear, especially in Australia. So I look for anything linen, or maybe silk or velvet, whatever you're really into. Sometimes it's a certain sleeve or hem. So for sleeves, like I really like bishop sleeves because they're really nice and flowy. So I might put in the term bishop sleeve. For skirts or dresses, I might put in asymmetrical. You can put in like a pixie hem, or like the waterfall or handkerchief hem. There's lots of terms you can use, but sometimes you do have to sort of make it broad and then try and narrow it down. And you do need a bit of time to sort of scroll through and try and find something. But if you've got some patience and some time, it can be done and you can find some really cool stuff. What's your favorite color? It's not my all-time favorite because I really like a lot of colors, but grey. I think grey is really underrated, and it's sort of associated with corporate or something that's dull and boring and mature. And I never see it that way ever. I think grey is calm. But it's also powerful. It's like an ocean waves during a storm, or clouds when the storm is happening, or mist, or it's beautiful. I love grey. I think it's an underrated color and it should be appreciated more. So I'm gonna say grey. Will I have an online shop somewhere for the clothes I'm selling? No, they're actually on an Instagram called Cat in a Closet. It's not Catina Closet, even though you may read it as that. And I'll link that below, and I've actually listed quite a lot, and quite a lot is sold, so thank you if you bought anything. But I will list more occasionally too. What is biting me? Ow. Sorry, cockatoo's screeching. What is my zodiac sign? I'm a Scorpio. Which color makes you feel powerful? Could be in clothing, makeup, etc. So this again ties into the favorite color question. Probably grey. I love to wear grey. I mean, I love wearing black as well. You can't go wrong with black. But for me, I just discovered over time that wearing grey I just really like. It makes me feel comfortable, it makes me feel safe and cozy, and it's just me. It's my color. And sometimes when you find something like that that just feels right, I guess you don't really need to question why. You just know that it is. All-time favorite books. Lord of the Rings, of course, and all of Tolkien's work, so the Silmarillion and the Hobbit. I'm partial to Harry Potter. I do like Harry Potter. So there's another series that I really like, and bonus points for you if you know this one, because it is quite obscure. It's called Monster Blood Tattoo, and it's by D.M. Cornish, who I believe is Australian. And I just really enjoy these books because they're so in-depth. They are fantasy sort of genre. Fantasy mixed with a bit of steampunk, I'd say. And the author illustrates as well, so they've got beautiful, really interesting pictures in them. And he's created a really detailed world with his own vocabulary and his own sort of monsters and people that fight the monsters. They have sort of classes, all that. And at the back there's like a glossary and an index, all that. So it's really, really detailed, and that's what I really love, and it just sucks you in. And I believe there's 3 or 4 books in this series. I should know, seeing as I'm mentioning it as one of my favorite books, but I haven't read it in a long time. I know I have 3, and maybe there's another one and I didn't know. But yeah, Monster Blood Tattoo, I would recommend. Really, really interesting. How do I feel about Russia? No real feelings, I guess. I've got a friend, Tatiana, whose Instagram is Rubrum1, who draws all the beautiful creatures in some of my work, and I love her page. It's stunning. So I know she lives there, so I'd love to visit her one day. But otherwise, I don't know that much about Russia. It's cold, it's big, they have bears, that's it. Do I style other content creators? No, I'm not against the idea. I'm actually a stylist, like that's what I've graduated with, creative direction and styling. So I could, but it's a bit hard to style people long distance. I kind of have to be there to properly see what they look like with their body, and also see what's in their wardrobe and what I can work with already. And that's very difficult when I'm not there. So, I mean, if there's anyone in Australia or Sydney that wants me to style them, hit me up and I will do that for you for a rate. Obviously, because I need to work. It is actually a tier on my Patreon. It's a $10 tier, and I'll link my Patreon down below as always. And it means that from a distance I can do what I can to give you a few tips on maybe how to style something you bought and you're not really sure how to wear, or maybe something you already own and you think, how can I style this? I can help you do that, and I can also give you some photography or editing tips too for your own outfit pictures. So that's all the questions I'm going to answer today, and thank you so much for sending them in, and let me know if you'd like me to do another Q&A video in the future. I've got quite a few videos planned, it's just getting around to doing them, just because I've got a few things on right now. Maybe you can make some suggestions of what you'd like to see. I've got some ideas, but I would like to know from you guys what you might like. So thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed being out in the bush with me. Hopefully the birds weren't screaming too loud so you could actually hear what I'm saying. And yeah, I will see you guys next time. Bye bye.